Have you ever received a controversial meme in one of your group chats where you laughed out loud, started typing a response, you're about to press send, but then you stop because it feels too risky to be the first one to respond. So you wait for someone else to do it. That's kind of how the Vancouver real estate market feels like right now. Well, you're going to want to watch this video because I'm going to tell you how to win in this market while everyone else is looking at it the wrong way. Everyone else is just waiting to see who reacts first and what happens next. Prices have cooled, buyers are nervous, sellers are cautious. And a lot of people are saying the same thing. I'm just going to buy when the market hits the bottom, which sounds reasonable until you realize one very important thing. No one actually knows where the bottom is. Not economists, not the cab drivers, and definitely not the guy on X with an avatar of a bored ape. In this video, I'm going to tell you why I'm buying property in Vancouver's down market, and more importantly, the 4-step playbook that I use to do it safely. Because in markets like this, the goal isn't to buy the cheapest property. The goal is to buy the one with the best value. Hi, my name is Simon Liu, and I am your friend in real estate here in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. The goal of this channel is to become your most trusted and reliable source of information about real estate in and around Vancouver. We aim to provide you with the most up-to-date, most interesting and relevant information that you need to know about for your next move. If you're thinking about moving to Vancouver and its surrounding areas, my team and I would love the opportunity to be interviewed to be your realtor. We have helped close to 1,000 families happily move up, down, and around over the last 19 years. I invite you to send me an email to info@happyhomesvancouver.com or a text message to 778-688-6838. Let us help you find your happy home. Let's start with something most people don't talk about enough. Real estate markets are driven by psychology as much as it is driven by economics. It is supposed to run on economics, but if you ever watch buyers and sellers in Vancouver, you quickly realize that it's mostly powered by coffee, headlines, and a mild panic. The funny thing is, everybody loves a discount, except when it comes to real estate. When TVs go on sale, people are lining up to buy two. When houses go on sale, they tell themselves something must be wrong. The psychology flips, and I get it. Fear is a very normal reaction. But here's the irony. The moments when people feel the most comfortable about buying are usually the worst times to buy. And the moments when people feel the most nervous are often when the best opportunities present themselves. Now, that doesn't mean you should go out and buy anything with a roof and 4 walls. This is still Vancouver. You could accidentally buy a $900,000 broom closet with a slow leak that was marketed as a water view, if you're not careful. So instead, here's the 4-step playbook that I use when buying property in a down market. Not to ruin this video for you, but step number 3 is the one where most buyers completely miss, even though it is the one that can save you tens of thousands of dollars. Have you ever bought something from a dollar store and it breaks before you even get home? Meanwhile, Costco sells the same thing for 3 times the price, but it'll last 10 years and comes with a return policy that could probably cover the apocalypse. Hunt for value, not just low prices. When the market slows down, a lot of buyers tend to chase those cheap properties. This is a public service announcement. Cheap and value are not the same thing. Everyone loves a deal, but sometimes the cheapest option ends up being the most expensive. Some of the cheapest properties are cheap for a reason. Terrible layout, poorly managed building, or my personal favorite, the junior 2-bedroom condo. You know the one? It's technically a 1-bedroom, but someone installed a DIY divider that looks like it came from IKEA's prison saw collection. Instead of chasing the lowest price, I look for value gaps. Things like desirable corner units in good condition with good square layouts in well-managed buildings, and the real kicker. The seller has to sell. Homes that have been sitting longer than average and the seller is getting frustrated. Properties that show poorly in photos online that haven't been seeing much action because of said photos, but in person, it looks great. In slower markets, pricing mistakes happen very easily, and that's where the opportunities hide. But even if you find a good deal, there's something even more important. You're going to want to watch until the end. Make sure you get this just right. You might be tempted to buy a huge house on a large lot with mountain views in the middle of nowhere that is advertised as selling below market value. Sure, it's a great deal, as long as you're comfortable commuting from Narnia. Pick the best location you can afford. This is the oldest rule in real estate for a reason. Location still wins. In strong markets, almost everything will go up. But in a slow market, the gap between good and average locations becomes evident. The best neighborhoods tend to recover first. These are the areas that are safe, near transit, good schools, walkable amenities, and strong communities. When the market eventually reverses, and historically it always has, and it eventually will, buyers don't suddenly become less picky. In fact, as the prices go up, they become more picky, which means great locations become even more valuable over time. So if you're choosing between a bigger home in a mediocre location or a slightly smaller home in a fantastic location, long-term, the second option often wins, even if it means your walk-in closet becomes just a regular closet. Now, here's where the down market becomes really interesting. Buyers suddenly gain something they haven't had in years: negotiating power. When markets stay hot for a long time, buyers seem to forget how negotiations work. It's like a muscle that hasn't been used for years. Suddenly, the market cools and people remember, all right, we can ask for things. Negotiating a hot market often looks like this. You submit your offer and potentially a letter about your dog, then immediately lose to someone who waived every condition and named their firstborn after the seller. But when the market cools, the dynamics changes. Listings sit so long that the once hopeful upsizing sellers have begun shopping for assisted living residences. Buyers who waited for the bottom forgot what they were out shopping for. All kidding aside, the sellers actually become more willing and open to have a conversation. That means buyers can negotiate things like better prices, subjects and conditions, repair requests, flexible completion dates, and in other words, you're no longer playing musical chairs with 12 other buyers with only one chair to fight for. You actually get to pick the home you want to buy instead of the homeowner picking you and your dog. And sometimes that alone is worth tens of thousands of dollars. But the last step in this playbook might be the most important one, because it completely changes how you look at buying a home. Most people shop for homes the same way people fall in love in romantic comedies. They walk in, the sunlight hits the quartz counter on the kitchen island just right. Smooth jazz music plays in the background. Eyes glance up to meet the listing agent who's hinting at the large deck. And suddenly, they're emotionally committed to a house they met just 4 minutes ago. What you need to do is take a step back and think like an investor, even if it is your primary home. Investors don't fall in love with properties at first sight. They date them for a bit. They ask engaging questions. They ignore your text messages for 3 days. Not because they're playing hard to get, but because they're waiting for the appraiser to tell them if you're worth it. Ask questions like, will this location be desirable in 10 to 15 years? Is the layout functional? Is the building well maintained? Could this property work as a rental if life changes? Because life does change. You may need to move for work. Maybe your family grows by 2 extra unplanned kids. Or occasionally, someone decides they need a puppy that unexpectedly grew to the size of a small horse. Whatever change you might experience, buying a home with an investor mindset gives you the flexibility and protection if the market moves in ways you didn't expect. And this brings us back to the big question. Why not just wait until the bottom? Because here's the problem. You won't know you hit the bottom until it's already passed. By the time the headlines say, real estate market is recovering, 2 things have already happened. Buyers have returned and prices have started moving up again. Trying to time the market perfectly is like trying to catch a falling knife. Best case scenario, you get lucky and catch the knife. The most likely scenario, you're going to end up needing stitches. So the reason I'm buying property in Vancouver's down market is simple. Not because I know exactly where the prices are going next, but because markets like this create opportunities for patient buyers. If you can look for value instead of just low prices, focus on great locations, negotiate strategically, and think like an investor. A slower market can actually become one of the best times to buy, whether the market is hot, cold, or doing whatever Vancouver real estate likes to do. Having a good plan makes all the difference, especially if you don't want to end up buying a $900,000 broom closet. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Vancouver and want help navigating this market strategically, I would love to be the realtor to help you do that. You can email me at info@happyhomesvancouver.com or send a text message to 778-688-6838. Let us help you get settled into your happy home. Make sure you check out our related video, Is Vancouver Actually Worth It? If you found this video helpful and would like to see more of it, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel or share with a friend so that you can help us help more people. Again, my name is Simon Liu, and I am here to serve you here in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.